carry on from where we left. We are still doing the jewelry part, so we'll be designing accordingly. Just look at where the light is and where the dark is, and accordingly you can put any of the dark or light colors that you have. I am not matching the colors because I am trying to show that you can convert any painting into any other kind of painting by changing the colors, and how you can do it. In this area, when we are doing, we have to keep in mind the shapes that we can see, and we have to follow accordingly. And when you are changing colors, please do remind yourself to get the excess off on a tissue paper. Here I am going from top to bottom. Taking pink in a lighter consistency because the light is falling straight. This is the area. So I am constantly looking at my reference image because I don't want to go wrong with the shapes. Also, we have put in the shapes when we were doing the pencil lining, so it will be helpful. Look at the creases and then go accordingly with your darker colors. Keep your reference in front of you. This is again a part of the designing of the jewelry, so it is not very clear in the reference image as well. We just see some blurred images. That is what I'm trying to create, and so I'll be going just vertically downwards as per what I can see. And just let's do the wet on wet first. So putting in a layer of water seemed little more, so I just got it off through my tissue paper. Here in this area there are darks and lights. Yeah. We are going in light first and then we'll darken it. In between the fingers, be careful when painting. On the reference image, I see darkness from behind the hand. Just blend it away with water. Dab off if there is extra water. Now the shoulder area. Though this part is dark relatively, but then some light is also coming from this area. So right now I'm not going very dark. This is the area that I'm looking at while painting. So of course, doing the hand, we'll first do wet on wet so that the colors can spread in a nice manner. Just considering, should I leave it for few seconds more, or okay, let me see. It's more water now on my brush also because I've just wet the area. I am deliberately letting in whatever mistakes and corrections that I am doing with the help of my brush or anything, so that if you encounter the same, you can solve it right then. For example, right now you saw there was more water on my brush, and after wetting it I saw that it was not helping me make the lines properly, so I removed extra water on the tissue. These are small things which you may not get somewhere else. Small things that impact. Get off extra moisture on the tissue you have. According to how it is looking on my reference image, I am choosing my colors. That is how dark it should be. Then I am going for a darker color, and if it is in light, then not only am I going with the light color but a lighter value of that color. So this again is a nitty-gritty. You will get only in courses when you join. I will go slow here, it's a small shape. Doing a second layer at the back of the hand also, where there was darkness. Design the jewelry again. Jewelry may not be of the same design whenever we're designing that. Sorry, it's part of the fingers only. I was considering doing the back side also. Continuing with the fingers first. Using yellow for the hand here. I have also taken slight bit of quinacridone gold. keep making the shapes as what you see, because that's the most important part. Just simplified the design on the hand. For the second hand again, we'll do a wet on wet first. It gives a very nice background for the next layers of coloring. So 2 layers we've already got, and this is the third layer. And having put a wet layer of water, I'm just placing in the lines which I see as dark on my reference image. I'm taking a slightly darker color here because there's also water on the paper, and because of which it will get diluted. The intensity of color will go down. I'm using burnt orange right now. This hand is little tricky, not much. Thing is that thing he's holding, you have to make that coming from in between the fingers, below the fingers. So I'm tackling the thumb right now and the inside of the hand. You have the shapes pencil lining, so go accordingly. That's what I am also doing. If one layer is also done, we will get a mapping of the area, and then when we come with another layer, it will be helpful. So this is the first layer where we are mapping it out as to where is what. So just be careful and a little more focused as to what is there on the reference image if you have gone darker in application of the previous two layers. Now that water it had dried, I'm applying some more water. Burnt orange. Looking at the shapes, I think there is some discrepancy in how it should be like and how it is. So I took a break from there, going on to the other hand. Here we already have the shapes and everything done. We are just darkening where it needs to darken. Where it needs darkening. Now this part of the area, just look at how dark or light it is. First I am thinking of doing the designs, that is the basic structure, and I am not following the design given in that reference image. That could be more tricky to do. So I am following my own design which is very simple based on what I can see on my paper. Accordingly I'll move it into design. Just lines, few lines. You can make it slanted, roundish, howsoever it suits you. this flower like area I can see. If you are doing along with me, because then you can do it, almost all of it. You can pause a little bit in between and let's do it. These areas are not difficult. You just have to put in shapes and lines which are you don't have to conform to any particular line which is in the reference image, so you can draw on your own if you have a good drawing hand, which I'm doing because this is easier done like this. When that object which is partly in some kind of haze on the reference image, then you can go on with this. And even if you make some other kind of design, it will not make much of a difference. If you disturb a hand or make it something else, it will make a difference. So these are the areas where we have more freedom to ourselves. Even though we did a seemingly intricate area, it wasn't as intricate because we could use our own imagination. That's why I've moved on to the same area on the other hand, where again we can use our own imagination and the rough sketch which we might have, and accordingly place the designs. I've made mostly inverted C-like structures. Shapes over here in the inside of the jewelry and darken a little bit at the bottom and somewhere in the center towards the upper area, as you see. Going on to the hand, I'm taking a watery mix of lemon yellow Be careful, we don't want to get mixed with that magenta of the hand which we just did. I placed in a darker color which is quinacridone orange, burnt orange, and the opposite side of this burnt orange I will use the lighter color or no color which is going with water. Again do wet and wet first for the hand, and we see that the hand and the leg area like they are resting almost touching each other, and it is the shadow area that we need to make right now. Before that, I'll just design the hand jewelry bracelet. Again, not following any particular design which is given in there. I'll just make dots, and first obviously rounds will be there, and dots and C, inverted C, sideways turned C. Those will look okay. Like it will give the impression of jewelry. Yes, and you can turn the page if you need to, so as to bring about better hand movement, because it is not mandatory for any artist to keep the page right, the way when we are writing, because this is not writing that we are doing, it's painting. In here you can turn your page any which ways, and if you are doing from a reference image, turn the reference image also accordingly and then paint from it. We are basically doing line shape, color form, value, texture and space. Nothing other than that. It's not particularly a hand or a leaf or a flower, but only these things. thinking of doing the stomach area, that's why. Placing in the water. So I'm looking at my image. All such areas have blurred image. They are not at all crisp. In this hand also, the sweet in the hand and the hand itself, they will blend somehow together. And because that hand is resting on the knee, that also will blend the hand, the knee and the cloth on the knee, everything. So it is better to go with the wet on wet here. When I am changing the color, I am always wiping my brush properly. Wetting the leg area also, after applying that color and blending that color. As the hand is turned, it has a bend, so direct light is not falling on the hand entirely. There is shade. So we are going wet on wet. We can use different colors. is the second layer, rather the third layer on the sweet that we are doing. We just painted it with a light color before this. Prior to that, 2 layers had already been done. This is the 4th layer. So through layering we want to bring out the kind of object that we want to show. Using burnt orange only. Darkening at this place because this will have less light, so the sweet that is being held will not look as light as it is there, as it is looking at the top. Using the same color chronacotone orange. Let's create speckles of those orange. Creating the speckles of orange will make it look better. Is your hand and the sweet being held in that hand looking relatively three-dimensional? If you are doing it with layering, it will For the nails, you just have to add some light color and add in the shapes. Here, this part we'll darken it again later on, or we can do it now also. So you see, I'm not at all fast. I'm doing it extremely slowly. I'm thinking and looking at the reference image. Just give a final shape to the fingers using pink, darker color than orange, because the fingers will move towards the shaded area, which is towards the knee. That's why I'm just describing all the color changes and why the color changes to you, so that when you attempt something else on your own, you are able to understand that. Thank you. We are almost done for the day.